First, we will start by creating a circle that will cover our main cranium, or you can say the part including brain to the nose. Then in the middle, after that, we will add the central vertical axis like we always do. Then in the slightly middle, horizontal eyebrow line will be added. This foundation line are also called mitica lines. And now slightly below, a line for the eyes, basically passing through lower eyelid. And again below, nose will be represented in a diamond shape. Then we will add the jaw lines and neck below and start forming ears right exactly from the protrusion line of eyebrow. And after that, we will cover the hairs from the outside, followed by the interior facial features, starting with the eyes and the mouth line, then both the eyebrows, and now the extension of limbs. Then move towards the hairline and a bit of refining. And notice to not press the pencil hard, keeping it light. Although you can use as many lines during this proportion process, just remember to take your time, but make sure that all features are in their right places and correct them if necessary. Just fix the adjustments. And as we are certain of the proportion that they are drawn precisely, we can start erasing the roughly prepared proportion, but with a light hand, making sure leaving the traces for further guidance. Rest assured. Although this process is optional, drawing roughly with light pressure in the beginning while fixing the proportion can reduce excessive anxiety and avoid from panicking. But you can certainly skip this technique if you are confident enough to draw proportion in your first go without making so many messes. Well, let's move on now, refining the details now after making sure our proportion is well adjusted. And meanwhile, we will be using the same pencil, that is 2H, for this first refining process. And I hope you are following along correctly, also managing to check the reference and tools and materials along with the drawing. And according to this refining process, our final portrait will result accordingly as well based on this proportion. I am creating a portrait that is a semi-stylized version, which will be slightly different from our reference. So now we will gradually fill in the small details such as the ears and the inner helix along with the other details. Then the contour of eyebrows on both the sides, and the eyes after that in details. We will fill in the inner part as well. And then we will work on the hair. We will try and separate the visible hair strands. And similarly the other alignment of eye in a symmetric way, and start working on nose and fill in the visible details of the nose. And after that we will fill in the mouth, including both the lips and slightly visible inner part, that is our tooth. And the shoulders are drawn similarly. Now we will sharpen all the parts with a darker tone pencil, best preferred tone above 6B pencil. And it is important to give sharpness to all these related areas because it will provide a contrast to the main identity of the portrait. So carefully follow me, which all parts will I be enhancing with the sharpness and the contrast. Like the outline of the eyes, especially the upper eyelids, eyebrows, nose, wings and nostrils, the mouth corners and interior incision, then under the ears and the outlines, similarly the jaw lines and the outline of neck and shoulders. Just study the entire body and check where it has been sharpened. And also notice that the sharpened lines are of spiky structure, meaning they are thick in the middle and becomes thinner towards the ending, both the sides. And after giving sharpness to the entire portrait, we will now apply the technique of hatching in our primary shading throughout the entire drawing. And please take note of the use of the pencils as we go along our process. We will be using different pencils according to the density and value of the tones from the reference itself. And while hatching our strokes, we have to make sure our hand is moving in a comfortable position. This will allow us to lay down our strokes in a unified sequence, making sure the outcome is harmonious in all the surface. And for that, please position the portrait accordingly and precisely, or you can move around the portrait accordingly and move the portrait around depending your comfortableness. If you are filming like me, if rotating the camera is not a problem. You can slightly notice that my hands are moving around, maybe not properly while it is zoomed in, but I have been doing so as instructed just now. I am not just shading or blending from one side, but sometimes I am carefully adjusting the portrait and sometimes I am rotating around it. If you pay close attention, make sure to carefully follow the detailed guide. You may notice my subtle and slight adjustment that I made during hatching through the entire surface. And make sure to carefully follow the detailed guidelines, especially when applying the pencil strokes. Check where to apply them meticulously, step by step, keeping in mind where to use the appropriate pencil, judging from the tone of shadow in our reference image. While hatching, we will use 2B pencil for the darker tone area around the face as the darkest tone and 4H or 6H for the brightest area. So follow the guiding index with the notes written with them to understand the work in detail. While using the 4H or 6H pencil, it will make feel significantly easier, so I use this pencil more in the highlight area at above mid-tones because it is most robust and strongest pencil in 6H, which stands for 6 hardness and has an excellent grip, so while applying strokes your hand won't accidentally slip in the area we are using them. And definitely follow the comprehensive guide index. And now after detailed hatched, we will carefully highlight the brightest areas with a mono zero eraser. And again pay attention to where to apply it by meticulously doing it step by step. And after that, wherever the smooth texture is required, we will smoothen them with the blending stump with the desired smoothness. And after blending them lightly and gently, please examine these particular areas as they are the most general areas required for blending. And after that, we will again leave some distinct marks of hatching with again our 2H pencil. For our intricate hatching, it looks good and our edging strokes can be seen clearly from above the smooth blending. And again repeat the same meticulous process for the lower section of the body using the required pencil. And after that, we will fill in the hair, doing it slightly differently. First, we will hatch the individual hair strands in a vertical strokes for every single strokes with the 2B pencil covering the entire hair volume in same direction. Then we will repeat the same process with a comparative darker tone pencil, advisably pencil above 6B, but this time we will hatch from two different sides but in the same directions, that is vertical, but we will hatch in a way that the middle part will not be covered completely. Then again hatching with the same pencil, but this time we will follow the directions of stroke regardless to the flow of hair. And in this hatching layer, we will similarly leave the middle part of the hair, leaving the impression that it looks like the middle parts are shiny. And we will lay these strokes maintaining a slight gap in between the strokes. So as we are in the end of the video, in which I have managed to include most of the basic about the hatching and the basic for stylizing your portrait, but I haven't concluded the main secret for stylizing your portrait, which I have planned to share in my upcoming episodes of stylizing techniques. So hope we will meet again. And then finishing the clothes below in the shoulder, in the bottom limbs area, we will give a similar texture to the fabric in the same way we did our hairs. Here is our final portrait. And if you have questions or inquiries, do kindly mention them below. I will meet you in my next video. Looking forward to see you in the next video. Until then, thank you very much and stay creative.